So, Mel Gibson has shared the brutal reality that Hollywood, or as we call it, woke Hollywood, is dead. Okay. So, Mel Gibson opens this conversation by laying out what he sees happening to the industry. And Mel Gibson is framing it through his time spent in Los Angeles, where he watched the shift firsthand. Now, Mel Gibson connects these observations to the broader decline that he believes woke Hollywood created through its decisions. And honestly, Mel Gibson does focus on how those choices shaped the environment that workers now face. So, as Mel Gibson explains it, well, woke Hollywood set the stage for the problems that's unfolding across the city itself, and the disconnect between, the leadership, such as Gavin Newsom and others, and Cruz is central to this point. So his Mel Gibson's view is that woke Hollywood pushed the system into a place that no longer supports people who actually keep it running. Okay, so Paramount, as you all may know, has slashed, over 1,000 jobs and stuff, and then tacked on another 2,000 in staff cuts, while Warner Brothers Discovery, CNN, and even Teen Vogue are trimming that fat. Fifth Season, Disneyland, Amazon, even Access Hollywood, Lionsgate, CNBC, PBS, anonymous content, Lifetime, Hallmark. I mean, it's a bloodbath across the board. And this is just from, Deadline, as you all just saw, the report dated back on November 3rd. And Mel Gibson nailed it when he said that the absurdity of, woke Hollywood's priorities has finally caught up, leaving people scrambling with only a month and a half left in the year. So you can, let's watch this clip that Mel Gibson did with Brian Enton on Brian Enton Investigates, okay? Because it's pretty interesting.
It was more cost effective to take them all over there, have jet lag, spend for 3 days, and pick it up that way. So, I mean, that's pretty common, I think, and that sort of, in a nutshell, tells you the story of the whole industry there. It's that it's being outsourced to other places where it's cheaper to shoot, more cost effective, better tax incentives, like Atlanta or New York or Bulgaria, or even I'm over here in Italy at the moment. They have better incentives, and the food is better, and it costs about a third as much as it does in California. See, the cost of living skyrocketed as well. Everything's very expensive, and even just the people that work, all the people that work on film are finding it hard to make a living there and pay their way with the cost of living the way it is. It's just gone to hell altogether. I blame it on the leadership of the state of California. There's other things that came into play. I mean, there was a big strike that slowed everybody down, and then on the heels of that, you had COVID, which was a real joy, and then you had the fires, the wildfires, and I think that was totally mismanaged by our leaders in California. And I think that, this confluence of things just eroded the industry there to the point the production's down everywhere. And it's like, but people have, if you want to make a living, if you want to feed yourself and your family, or, whatever it is you have to do, you have to go elsewhere to find the work. So, the people with the expertise, and I don't mean just, directors, producers, and all that sort of stuff. I mean it right across the board, right down to the guy that makes the coffee for the, they have to go other places, and they have done, and they've taken their expertise with them. And the states where they've gone have benefited by their knowledge and their talents. And we've gone wanting where we are. Now, I know Newsom has come up with some kind of tax incentives, but has anybody seen any of that yet? Did we see any water in the reservoir? Did we see him use the money he was given to clean up, manage the forestry and stuff like that? Did we see, why did they defund the fire department? It's a real mess. And a lot of the people who once kept that industry alive and thriving have left for greener pastures, and you can't blame them. And I just think the industry is dying there. And it used to be the mecca when I went there. Gosh, years ago, I was working there. The place was just booming through the 80s, 90s, even after the turn of the millennium, it was still cooking. But sadly, it's all gone to hell in a handbasket. And I blame our leaders.
I can't believe that it's cheaper for you for a 1 day shoot to fly your crew all the way around the world to Bulgaria.
Yeah, for 3 days and
Live
take
in
care of
LA.
all the. Yeah. Prohibitively expensive. A lot of red tape, a lot of hoops to jump through. And even if you brought in tax incentives, it would still be expensive, more expensive. I mean, just the cost of an apple is 3 times as much as it is in Rome. It's just, that's just the way it is.
And that's pretty unfortunate right there. Now, media layoffs bled over from last year's mess, and nobody saw survival into 2025 as the pipe dream it was. You see, Anker also put it in stark. Hollywood's AI era jobs collapse kicked off November 5th, with Amazon eyeing a 75% automated workforce where human creativity might soon be, relegated to indie outliers. And Mel Gibson's wearing rings true, warning rings here true. Woke Hollywood panicked too late. And honestly, now robots are eyeing their gigs while the top country music chart just crowned an AI generated hit that no one saw coming. I mean, honestly, AI music is, starting to top the charts too and stuff. And despite all the doubters, Mel Gibson's take on this chaos is showing that Mel Gibson is being realistic, pointing out how embracing tech smartly lifts you up. But woke Hollywood is in a bind because they've alienated everyone with their elitist woke nonsense. Now, when you offend, middle America, act like social media scumbags, and even push woke agendas nobody wants, people turn to the machines instead. Simple as that. Heck, as a matter of fact, Mel Gibson dropped this bomb in his Brian Anton interview, as I just played a clip for part of the clip here, painting Los Angeles as a place where the industry's core is rotting away. He spent 3 days there, recently, and picked up on the vibe immediately, where streets are empty, energy gone like not days, but decades. Energy gone like a shell of what built this dream factory. Now, woke Hollywood's outsourcing everything to cheaper spots: Atlanta, New York, Bulgaria, even Italy, where Mel Gibson's at right now, because tax incentives beat California's nightmare costs hand down. I mean, costs in California have skyrocketed. Living there as a film worker means scraping by while everything triples in price. And Gibson hit the nail where it's gone with crews unable to pay rent on what used to be decent gigs. Woke Hollywood's refusal to adapt, clinging to their coastal bubble, is why the productions bolt, for better food, lower bills, and actual welcome mats elsewhere. California's turned into, inhospitable for business, and Gibson calls it straight. Filming's exodus leaves SoCal, or Southern California, looking like Detroit minus the auto plants. Atlanta was a go-to, but even that's shifting as woke Hollywood shuns, the red states. All right. So begging New York for over $800 million in tax credits, scratching backs to stay afloat. Now, if that's falls, it's off to the UK, where finances make more sense than the Golden State. Gibson's right, and it's wild how foreign soil beats home turf now. Okay, so definitely walk Hollywood Boulevard today, and it's a far cry from the packed Vegas like nights that people remember from their younger days and stuff. Ghost Town Central, no buzz, just echoes. All right, restaurants that buzzed post shoot are shuttered. Legendary spots closing for good as nightlife evaporates. And Mel Gibson said this very thing, where below the line jobs, makeup artists, caterers, grips, all are evaporating, and those people built lives around the industry that woke Hollywood's mismanagement is actually killing. All right. Now, even with Marvel's bailed entirely, ditching for LA for the UK after a stint in Atlanta, the whole machine's relocated where costs don't even strangle you. Now, Mel Gibson does point out that it's the ecosystem crumbling, from the props to coffee runs, all vanishing as shoots go global. And Mel Gibson even said something similar to the effect that woke Hollywood's policies under Gavin Newsom sealed this: late to tax credits, blind to incentives, turning a powerhouse basically into just another punchline. Okay. Now, as you all remember, wildfires ravaged the areas the size of Paris, house after house torched, and yet incompetence from the mayor Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, the governor, gets no reckoning, just re-election bids. The fire chief got fired and canned for asking for water, but the architects of the disaster remained untouched, just plotting presidential runs like nothing even happened. Okay. And Mel Gibson's frustration mirrors the rank and file anger 5 to 7 years of this particular gross mismanagement. Okay. And woke Hollywood's too deep in their echo chamber, well, to even care. Okay. So elections there handed redistricting back to politicians for rigging. TDS, as you all know, keeping voters loyal to the same failures. All right. Mel Gibson's interview does cut through that noise, and Mel Gibson highlighted how California's dump status chases away since. Woke Hollywood elites flew to New York campaigning for saviors like Mamdani, dreaming of an LA mayor who will just fix their mess. I mean, best wishes to that fantasy. Now, unions fought tooth and nail for this mess last year, against AI, but got zilch, and now it's sweeping in unchecked. Mel Gibson wants is embellished to ignore it. 4 AI avatars might fool at first, but Uncanny Valley will tank audience buy-in fast. Woke Hollywood's inauthenticity already turns people off, pushing fake agendas in stories nobody relates to. Okay, so robot replacements could be the final nail if not handled right, like for stunts or voice work only. Now, targeted AI makes sense, but wholesale actor swaps, I mean, let's be real. Mel Gibson is skeptical, and a lot of other people are. You see, viewers crave real over robotic slop. Woke Hollywood's panic shows they know it. Jobs are down 40 to 50% already. Detroit 2.0 are looming in 2 years flat. And get out while you can, because clinging to a sinking ship just simply drowns you even further. Secondary jobs are hit the hardest. Prop makers, electricians, carpenters, even baristas steaming milk for crews, all packing up as productions dry up. Mel Gibson spells it out correctly. When the core filming halts, the ripple kills everything tied to it. Woke Hollywood sold this by prioritizing woke lectures over stories, leaving workers high and dry in a state that's trash fire. No pun intended, by the way. I'm just stating the particular points that Mel Gibson has also included in this as well. Okay. Now, honestly, Gavin Newsom pretends, he's the fix, he's the solution, but he's the poison. Policies that bloated costs and scared off, shoots and stuff. Mel Gibson is blunt. California's dump run by people who can't lead, and smart money's fleeing to Vancouver, New Zealand, anywhere cheaper and saner. You see, woke Hollywood's death spiral, self-inflicted, from ignoring the tax games to burning bridges with half of the country. Now, up until 10 to 15 years back, we didn't even, harp on red versus blue states. It was just America, coasts and heartland coexisting. And now California's a foreign nation to Florida or Texas. Wealth and jobs flowing out like water. Mel Gibson captures the shift where films chasing incentives abroad, stunning, conservative ties, even the dooming Tinseltown to, irrelevance. Okay. So surely Louisiana does have its holes with New Orleans and Baton Rouge, dragging down metrics like education, but even there, fixes are underway without the coastal denial. Now, Mel Gibson is calling to bail echoes everywhere broken. Trial lawyers, corruption, sky-high insurance. California amplifies it all, and woke Hollywood's not getting bailed out. They're just they're begging for scraps while the industry's rebirth happens elsewhere, tax credits or not. And Mel Gibson, in his vision of Southern California as a hollowed out husk, isn't even a hyperbole. It's the trajectory that woke Hollywood's locked into. Productions realize flying crews to Ireland beats local shoots, labor premiums, eating profits alive, and hit the road if you're tied to it. Rebuild where welcome, because Tinseltown's glow faded a long time ago, and Mel Gibson just turned on the harsh light. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for future uploads, notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.